Lupus affects every aspect of one's being. Lupus sufferers don't pretend to be sick. They often pretend to be okay. And sometimes this can be misunderstood. In this video, I would attempt to explain the mental and emotional pain caused by lupus and how much we rely on our loved ones for support. Hi everyone, I'm Priyashni, and I would like to share my story on how lupus had robbed me of my emotional and mental wellness for a number of years before I had the courage to seek help. In year 2007, I was diagnosed with systemic lupus erythematosus, and only very close family members, say less than 10 people, knew about my condition. I hid my illness from everyone and pretended like nothing was wrong. Firstly, I didn't quite understand what I was suffering from, and secondly, I was on an emotional roller coaster, having all these feelings all at once, and nothing makes sense to me. I was sick, but not like bedridden. I could work, but had limitations. I did not sound sick, I did not look sick, but I felt sick. So there were a lot of things playing on my mind. Being a 22-year-old at that time, I was in total denial that I have this life-threatening condition. I didn't want to acknowledge SLE. I didn't want to be dependent on medication all my life. And I didn't want to think that I was dying and had only a couple of months to a few years to live. And then I was struck with fear. Fear of being dependent on my loved ones. Fear of not being able to pursue my career. Fear of not being able to become a good wife. Fear of not being able to have children. Fear of disability. Fear of financial instability. Fear of not having access to modern day medical facility or medication. Fear of disability. And above all, fear of judgment from other people. And then feeling guilty of not participating or not being able to be involved in family or social life. To self-hate to the extent that I started thinking that I don't deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to lead a pain-free life. I don't deserve love or marriage. I don't deserve to be alive. So I was going through just about every emotional and mental insecurity that there is. When these kind of thoughts are coupled with a life-threatening chronic illness, you find yourself in a black hole with no sign of light from anywhere or anyone. It's a very lonely place to be. I would be in so much pain, yet I pretended to be okay, as if my life had become two sides of a coin. One side, my professional life, where I was this strong, independent woman, high achiever, all-rounder. And then my personal life, where I was suffering, confused, emotionally unstable, felt worthless and depressed. No matter how much I wanted to be surrounded by my family and friends and be involved, I had actually shut everyone out of my life, out of fear that if I tried to explain, no one would understand. Some would look down upon me or even make fun of my condition. I felt that I needed to maintain my professional persona because my job was the only thing that made me feel like the girl I was before being diagnosed with lupus. My job was the only thing that made me feel empowered, so I became a workaholic, piled on more stress, and neglected my personal and social life. And because I didn't have a social life, I piled on even more work and more stress, which then aggravated my lupus condition. And because I was hiding my lupus condition from everyone, I became even more distant from everyone. So that vicious cycle just continued. I had even detached myself from my parents because I didn't want them to see me in pain all the time and constantly worry about me. Instead, I showed them that I was doing well in my job and traveling around the world, and hid from them the girl who would cry herself to sleep every night because of the pain, loneliness, lack of emotional, moral, or physical support. But parents are parents. they could always sense when something was wrong, which is like all the time. There is a popular theory among people with chronic illnesses called the spoon theory, which is used to explain the idea of having limited mental and physical energy using spoons as a unit of energy. So on my good days, I get, say, 10 spoons of energy to last me from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. On my not so good days, I get, say, 8 spoons of energy. On the days that I feel really fatigued, I get 6 spoons of energy. So the idea is to prioritize what activities you want to spend your energy on. And for me, because I become a totally different person when I step out of my house, I often end up using all my spoons of energy at work or when I'm in public. So by the time I come home at the end of the day, I barely have any spoons left. I'm a member of a number of online lupus support groups from around the world, and I see a recurring issue that's being discussed on nearly every page. That maybe the worst part of having lupus is not the condition itself, but the mental and emotional trauma, and especially the ones caused by our own loved ones. The very people we expect to rely upon for support when we run out of our spoons. There are many lupus sufferers who have a very good support system, like it should be, but there are many more lupus sufferers who don't have support from their loved ones. This is not to offend anyone, but I have experienced it myself and have read other people's stories, so just summing that up. It hurts the most when you're made to feel guilty for using your spoons to be productive at work or for not being able to function at home. You are constantly misunderstood because you chose to do one thing and not the other. Then there's mistrust because what you appear to the outside world, you're not that when you reach home. You get told to suck it up and don't try to gain sympathy. You get blamed for feeling sick or fatigued. You get punished for not looking sick enough. You get left out by your friends because you're just full of problems. You start hearing gossips about you from within your family. And the worst one I read, your family gets so tired of your medical drama that they wish you were dead. These are all real stories that I'm sharing with you. Anyone with an invisible chronic illness is already emotionally and mentally drained. Why would our loved ones add to that pain? I don't have an answer to that question, but I hope that with my videos, non-lupus sufferers can become aware of the difficulties people like me face in our daily lives. I'm truly blessed that my parents are open-minded and have stood beside me from the day I was diagnosed with lupus. So thank you, Mum and Dad. Lupus is incurable, but I believe that mental and emotional sufferings can be minimized with support and awareness on invisible illnesses. Don't forget to subscribe to my Lupus Comforts channel for more real-life experiences of living with lupus. Till my next video, take care.